Hello dear students, as you all know, we are doing chapter number 14, semiconductor devices, semiconductor material and devices and symbol circuits. And today we are going to do the second part of the lecture series. Notes I have already sent in the group. I hope you have write down all the notes, you have written down all the notes. And now, while watching this lecture, you must go through the notes also. Okay, so in the last video lecture, I think we have discussed till valence bond model of semiconductor and insulators, semiconductor. Okay, today we are going to discuss energy band model of semiconductor, intrinsic as well as extrinsic. So let us understand first of all what are energy bands. The first topic is for today is energy bands in solids. As we all know, if on the basis that a solid conduct electricity or not, there are two categories. One is insulator, one is conductor. But in this chapter, we are going through another one which is called semiconductor. Now, insulators are the one which do not allow the flow of electricity, flow of current through them. Conductor allow the flow of current, and semiconductors, as we are at very low temperatures, they behave as insulator, but at room temperature or even higher temperature, they behave as conductor. So today we are going to discuss in case how we can explain this property on the basis of energy bands. So first of all, let us understand what is energy band. Energy band. Whenever this band word come, band, it simply means range. It simply means range. Okay. All we know that if we go atomic structure, then at the center there is nucleus, and electrons are revolving in different orbits. Okay. In different orbits, electrons are revolving. Now, the electron which is in the outermost orbit is likely to be having less bonding with the nucleus because distance is more. If distance is more, then force between the nucleus and the electron will become less. Okay. So, electron which is in the outermost orbit is called valence electron. Valence electron. Okay. And it is the one which take parts in the bonding. Suppose if we give some energy to the atom, then this is the first one which will leave its orbit. So this is the highest orbit which is filled, outermost orbit. It is called valence band. Now why it is called band? Because if an electron is revolving in this one only, then its energy is fixed and its energy will not change. But what happens in solids, that atoms are closely packed. Just beside this, in the neighbor, there is one more atom, and for that atom also there is one electron which is revolving in the outermost orbit. So there is an interaction between neighboring atoms as well as the electron which is revolving in the outermost orbit. Now this electron will have potential energy because of this nucleus, because of nucleus of second atom, because of electron revolving in the second atom, and so on. So this electron will not have a fixed energy. This electron, its energy will be varying from a certain value to the certain value. So that energy gap, that energy range is called energy band. So basically, if I define what is valence band, so this is the band which is the outermost orbit of the atom, and it is the filled one. Here the electrons are filled in this band, and these are the electrons when some energy is given, they leave their orbit and become free electron to conduct electricity. So valence band is what? Valence band is the outermost orbit, outermost filled band where the electrons are present. Okay, and these are the electrons when we give some energy, they become free from the atom and conduct electricity. Okay. So the definition of valence band will be like the outermost band which is filled with the valence electron is called valence band. Once again, the outermost band which is filled with valence electron are called valence band. And now next to the valence band there is conduction band. Conduction band. What is conduction band? After valence band, the band which is allowed for the electron, that is called conduction band. When an electron is in the conduction band, it is ready to conduct electricity. When an electron in the valence band, it is there in the bond only. It is there in the covalent bond only. Okay, we have to give some energy so that electron can leave its valence band and go to the conduction band. Now, the gap between valence band and conduction band, that is called energy gap, or it is called energy band gap. It is denoted by Eg. It is denoted by Eg. Okay. So if I make a diagram to represent valence band and conduction band, then how it will be like? For a conductor, what happens? This is your valence band and this is your conduction band, and they are overlapped. From here till here it is valence band, from here till here it is valence band, and from here till here it is conduction band. So as you can see, there is some portion which is there overlapped between valence band and conduction band. That's why the electrons which are there in the valence band can easily move to the conduction band when a small amount of energy is being provided. But when we go in the insulators, for the insulators, then what happens? For insulators, this is your valence band and this is your conduction band. Okay. Now valence band electrons are there. Conduction band there is no electron. Okay, because no one there. And this energy gap, which is Eg, is found to be greater than 3 electron volt. Is found to be greater than 3 electron volt, and that's why the electrons cannot move from valence band to conduction band. Okay, they cannot move, and that's why the insulators do not allow the flow of current through them, because no charge carriers are there. Insulators, right? And when we draw it for semiconductors, in semiconductors, as we know, there are two types of semiconductors. One is intrinsic, one is extrinsic. Let us draw it for intrinsic first of all. Intrinsic semiconductors. For intrinsic, just see. This is your valence band. This is your conduction band. Now electrons are there in the valence band. But this energy gap which is called Eg, is actually less than 3 electron volt. In semiconductors, this energy gap is less than 3 electron volts. Now what happens? Electron, when some energy is given to them, obviously greater than its energy gap, then electrons are getting transferred from valence band to the conduction band. And when the electron leaves its bond, it leaves a hole behind it. Okay, this electron goes in the conduction band, a hole is left over here. This electron goes in the conduction band, a hole is left over here. So how the number of electrons are equal to the number of holes, and both are there to conduct electricity. Both are charge carriers. Electrons are also charge carriers, holes are also charge carriers, that we have discussed in the last video lecture in this valence bond model. Okay, whenever an electron leaves its valence band and go to the conduction band, by breaking its bond, it will leave a hole behind it. And that's why there are so many holes. Is it clear? Now, if we go to the extrinsic semiconductors, then in extrinsic semiconductors, let me remove from there. I'm removing this conductor one. Extrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductor. Extrinsic semiconductor, there are two. One is N-type semiconductor, another one is P-type. One is N-type, another one is P-type. So let us discuss first of all N-type semiconductors. All we know that in the last video lecture we have discussed that in N-type semiconductors what happens? The intrinsic semiconductor is impaired with a pentavalent impurity. So 4 electrons of pentavalent makes covalent bond and 1 electron is extra, and that electron, I am giving a very small amount of energy also, that electron leave its orbit and become a charge carrier, and it is ready to conduct electricity. So in N-type semiconductor, pentavalents are impaired, pentavalents are doped. So this is your valence band, this is your conduction band. Obviously this energy gap is less than 3 electron volt, okay. But in case of an N-type semiconductor, there is extra energy level which just lie below the valence band, and this extra energy level is called donor energy level, and it is the energy level of that fifth electron which is not there in the covalent bond. It is the energy level of that fifth electron which is not there in the covalent bond. So there are some electrons, it depends upon the impurity, and some electrons are there in the valence band also. So now if some amount of energy is given, so these electrons can easily go in the conduction band and now they are ready to conduct electricity. But if one electron goes from valence band, it leaves a hole behind it. Is it clear? The energy gap between this donor energy level and conduction band, this energy gap is actually less than 0.5 electron volt. Okay, 0.5 electron, it is very small. So electron can easily go from this donor energy level to the conduction band. Okay, so this is your valence band. Whenever an electron goes from valence band to the conduction band, it will leave a hole. But from this, the electrons are going, they will not leave hole behind it because they were extra. They were not there in the covalent bond. Whenever an electron breaks its covalent bond and then goes to conduct electricity, then a hole is created. But one electron is extra. If you remember, we have done like this. 5 electrons were there. So 5 electrons makes covalent bond. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of its electron make covalent bond, and 1 electron was extra. So that 1 electron is not there in the covalent bond, and that's why it does not leave a hole behind it, these electrons. But this electron, when this electron will leave, so it will leave a hole behind it. Is it clear? So as you can see clearly that number of electrons are greater than number of holes. So in N-type semiconductor, electrons are there in the majority and holes are there in the minority. So electrons are majority charge carriers and holes are minority charge carriers. Okay. Now let us discuss the last one. Last one is P-type semiconductor. P-type semiconductor. What is P-type semiconductor? All we know that trivalent impurities are mixed, trivalent impurities are doped. So this is your conduction band. This is your valence band. This is your conduction band. Electrons are there. in the valence band, and in case of p-type semiconductor there is an extra energy level which lies just above the valence band. This energy level is called acceptor energy level, acceptor energy level, and this gap Eg is less than 0.5 electron volt. Okay, so now the electrons, there are actually holes on this, holes are there. So electron, on getting a very small amount of energy also, they goes into the hole, neutralize it, and they leave hole behind it. So on this there is nothing. Electrons, they go in the hole, they neutralize it, and they leave a hole behind it. So there are holes in the valence band, and some electron goes from valence band to the conduction band, they also leave hole. Is it clear? On the acceptor energy level, holes are there. Electrons from the valence band go to the acceptor energy level and then neutralize the hole. Hole is positive charge, electron is negative charge. When the electron goes into the hole, it neutralizes it. So no holes are there on the acceptor energy level because all the holes are neutralized by electrons of the valence band. Now any of the electron goes into the valence band from valence band to the conduction band, it will leave a hole behind it. So here what happens, number of holes are greater and number of electrons are few. So in this case, number of holes are much greater than number of electrons. In this case, number of electrons are much greater than number of holes, and in this case, when the semiconductor is intrinsic, then number of electrons is equal to number of holes. So you need to understand that here in case of intrinsic semiconductor, there is nothing like majority, nothing like minority. In p-type semiconductor, p plus holes refers to the plus charge, holes are majority charge carrier, electrons are minority charge carriers. N-type semiconductor, N negative, electrons are majority charge carriers and holes are minority charge carriers. Important point is, what are the important points? In this case, you need to understand that in p-type semiconductor, there is an extra acceptor energy level which lies just above the valence band. In N-type semiconductor, there is an extra energy level which is called donor energy level, which is just below the conduction band. So these are the things you must remember. These are the things from where the question can be asked in the board examination. Okay, so this is all about energy bands in solids. Now let us discuss about mobility of charge carriers. Now what is mobility? Mobility is actually the topic of chapter number 3, current electricity. I hope you must remember the one topic we have discussed, that is called drift velocity. It was denoted by Vd. And when an electron is allowed to flow in an electric field, then the ratio of drift velocity to the electric field is called mobility. Mobility, mathematically it is defined like this. Mathematically its definition is like this: drift velocity to the electric field. This ratio is called mobility of charge. Okay, mobility of charge. Now the thing is, what is mobility in the real sense? It is the mathematical definition. What is mobility in the real sense, that we have to discuss. So mobility in the real sense is actually the ease of movement. Ease of movement. Suppose one space is there and that space is quite vacant. If you walk in that space, then you can move very easily. But if it is a very crowded place, then it is difficult to move. So your mobility is good or great when the space is vacant. But your mobility is quite less when the space is crowded. In the same manner, electrons are there. Electrons, they move through the conductor. And if the conductor is filled with, it is very tightly packed and it is the flow of electrons is not allowed, then its mobility will be less. It depends upon Vd. If Vd is less, mobility is less for the same electric field. And if the electrons are having space to move inside the conductor, then its mobility will be greater. Now, why we are discussing mobility over here? Because semiconductors are having two charge carriers. One is electron, one is hole. So we have to discuss that either electrons are having greater mobility or the holes are having greater mobility. Now, let me make you clear that electrons are having mobility greater than the holes. Why is it so? Because electrons are free. They are free to move. They are free to move. They are not in the covalent bond. They are nothing like that. Okay. But in case of holes, suppose if I talk about a p-type semiconductor. So in valence bond model, we have already discussed that. Okay. I am not making so many. I am making just one. So this electron will, 3 of its electron will make a covalent bond, and now one of the electron is not there, so there will be a hole. Okay, plus 3, so 3 electrons are there to make covalent bond. So here one electron, deficiency of one electron is there, so that's why a hole is created. Now this deficiency, suppose this electron is there, okay, and we have applied an electric field here positive and here negative. Okay, now what will be happening, that this electron will tend to move towards this side, but this is there in the covalent bond. It cannot move any of electron. It can happen with this electron, any of the electron, but suppose I am taking this one as example. So this electron cannot go towards that side. So what will happen, this electron will jump from here till here. It will neutralize the hole, and what will happen, a hole is created over here. Hole is considered to be positive charge, and it will have equal charge as the negative charge will have. Means 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. It will have positive, hole will have positive, electron will have that same charge in negative terms. So what is happening, if electron is moving from here to here, it will neutralize the hole, and here the new hole is created. Now just see, either you can understand the movement by the electron, or you can say the hole is moving from this side to this side. Both are correct. But now just see, the movement of hole depends upon those electrons which are already there in the covalent bond. Movement of holes depends upon this electron, and this electron was there in the covalent bond. So you can easily understand that movement of electron depends upon those electrons which are there in the bond, and that's why the mobility of holes is less, because it depends upon those electrons which are in their covalent bond. And while when we talk about electrons, free electrons, so they are not there in the covalent bond, they can move very easily, and that's why mobility of electron is greater than mobility of holes. Okay, this is one conceptual thing you must understand. Now let us try to understand conductivity of semiconductor. Conductivity of semiconductor. Okay, conductivity of semiconductors. Let us try to understand this topic now. Semiconductor. If I talk about total current, so now electrons are also carrying current, holes are also carrying current. So total current will be current carried by electron plus current carried by holes. So current will be equal to what? Current carried by electron, number density of electrons, multiplied by charge on electron, multiplied by cross section area, multiplied by drift velocity of electron. Right? I am applying the formula I is equal to NEA VD of chapter 3rd. Now for holes, number density of holes, charge on hole, area of cross section, drift velocity of hole. E and A can be taken common. This I can be written as V upon R. So here we can write E and A we can take common. In bracket we are going to have NE VE plus NH VH. Okay. V is voltage, R is resistance, you must be knowing it. Now in place of V we can write electric field multiplied by length of the conductor. So V is going to be electric field multiplied by length of the conductor upon R. This side all the things will remain same. We are going to have E into A and E VE plus NH VH. Okay. Now E is transferred to that side, and in place of R we can write rho L upon A. So we can have L upon rho L upon A is equal to EA. Just see how I am writing this. Okay, just see how I am writing this. It is NE VE upon E plus NH VH upon E. What I am doing? I am writing drift velocity of electron upon electric field, drift velocity of hole upon electric field. Drift velocity upon electric field, what it is? It is mobility. Moreover, this L and L will be cancelled out, A will go in the numerator, and now we'll have A upon rho is equal to E into A, and E mu E plus NH mu H. What is mu E? Mobility of electrons. What is mu H? Mobility of holes. Now A and A will also be cancelled out. This is 1 upon rho. 1 upon resistivity is called conductivity. Conductivity is denoted by sigma. Sigma is equal to 1 by rho, and 1 by rho is equal to E inside the bracket, and E mu E plus NH mu H. So this is the formula for conductivity of semiconductors. Now you can see that conductivity depends upon what? Conductivity depends upon mobility of electron. Also it depends upon mobility of holes. As the electrons will have greater mobility, holes are having less mobility, but moreover it depends upon mobility of both. Okay, so mobility is greater, conductivity is greater. So this is all about conductivity of semiconductor. Now let us proceed and let us try to understand the next topic. One more very important thing is there which we have done in the chapter number 3, that is the effect of temperature on conductivity or resistivity. In case of conductor, what we have studied, if you remember the formula, in case of conductor, we have studied that rho at temperature T is equal to rho naught 1 plus alpha T minus T naught. That formula we have studied in case of conductors, that with increase in temperature, that resistivity increases. Okay, but when we talk about this one, conductivity, semiconductors, then there is a different thing. As you can see, 1 upon rho is equal to this much. If temperature increases, suppose if I want to write the value of rho from there, so it will be what? Reciprocal of that, so it will be 1 upon E inside the bracket and E mu E plus NH mu H. Okay, this is the value of resistivity in case of semiconductors. Now the question is, if we increase the temperature, then what will happen? If we increase the temperature, then in case of conductor, resistivity increases, but in case of semiconductors, the resistivity decreases. Why is it so? Actually, what happens when we talk about conductor, when we talk about semiconductors, then when we increase the temperature, then what happens? When we increase the temperature, then what happens? The collision frequency, electrons are moving with greater different velocity, and now that collision frequency increases. This collision frequency increases the number density of holes as well as number density of electrons. Collision frequency increases, so number density of holes and number density of electrons increases in a greater manner. Electrons are moving with greater drift velocity, and when they collide with an electron which is already in their covalent bond, they make free that electron. They free that electron from the covalent bond. Now one electron comes out from the covalent bond, one hole is left with there. So we have now 2 electrons, 1 hole. Now these 2 electrons go hit somewhere else, they will make 2 more electrons free. Now we have 3 holes, 4 electrons, and this chain continues. And now what happens? The number of charge carriers increases exponentially, which decreases actually the resistivity and increases the conductivity. So with the increase in the temperature, collision frequency increases. Collision frequency increases, the number of charge carrier increases. Number of charge carrier increases, number density increases. When this increases, rho decreases. This is how we explain the effect of temperature. Once again, the whole chain. If temperature increases, drift velocity increases. drift velocity increases, then collision frequency increases. Collision frequency means number of collision that electron takes in 1 second. So collision frequency increases. More collision frequency, more number of electrons and holes. More number of electrons and holes, greater number of density, electron and holes density. Greater number of density, rho will be less. Okay, so this is how we explain the effect of temperature on the conductivity of or resistivity of semiconductors. Okay, so this is all about the basic things about semiconductors. Now we have to study about PN junction, an application of PN junction. So I think the lecture will take 2 to 3 lectures to complete these topics. Okay, and I hope this is all for the day. In the next video lecture, we'll talk about PN junctions and their applications. Okay, so this is all for the day. Thank you.